American military unit sent in to save Latin American country in the midst of political turmoil.
Did that sound familiar to you? 'Cause that sound really familiar to me.
So after months of anticipation of what James Gunn would cook up, Suicide Squad has now hit theaters and streaming, and it it has its issues. And a lot of these issues surrounds the generic plot of what I mentioned earlier that James Gunn decided to follow, like hundreds of past American movie films have done so as well. Like, for example, my biggest plot when I first started to realize that there was like a lot going wrong was when the general made his little proposition to Harley Quinn. I mean, because think about it. Here you have the most powerful man in Corto Maltese, and he has just fallen so much in love with this random white American woman, and he needs a wife so bad. Like the people need him to have a wife because they're so old fashioned, and it just has to be her because she's so anti-American, even though she is an American. I mean, what? And then like he's so desperately in love with her. Not for a second does he think, why was she in my country trying to storm the country? Like never does he consider her a security risk for that, and it just ends up dying because of it. Like that was just no. Mm-mm. And but on the topic of Harley Quinn, so after she gets captured again, for killing the general or the president, I don't know. There was a lot of interchanging titles. She gets arrested and tortured, and then she goes into her very like standard by now after three movies with Harley Quinn. Oh, I'm Harley Quinn. I can just storm through a group of 20 or plus so armed soldiers. Like this is the third time they've done that. And just overall the character of Harley Quinn is becoming so standardized. Like her plot, her character development, the way they execute the character is just so much of the same. I mean, once again, much of her development and any insight to her character is dependent on her romantic relationship with the man. You know, again, they bring up the Joker, which I understand because her origins are heavily tied to the Joker. But I mean, the whole like that, oh, my relationship with the Joker, it's drawn out. I mean, even the scene where she's killing other guards, like we've seen that twice already. And I mean, I understand why, because reports have come out that Margot Robbie is done with the character. I sympathize with that. I mean, come on, it's a lot of the same. But with all of that aside, I mean, the movie wasn't terrible. There were things that I liked. I liked. Ooh, how do you Nanawe? I think that's it. I'm not gonna look it up. I mean, unless I'm gonna get canceled by the ancient shark god community for mispronouncing that. But I liked his character. They did the big doof trope. They played that well. It was cute. It was fun, especially with the way he interacted with Ratcatcher 2. And Ratcatcher 2 herself, she was a great character. The way the actress executed the role, her background was great, especially that last one liner that we got from Taika Waititi about the rats being the lowest of society, and if they could have purpose, then so could everybody else. Now that was a moment, and the movie gave us a lot of nice, cute, thematic one-liners that should have been developed throughout the movie more, other than other things like Harley Quinn. Because even with Starro at the end, where he says, "I was happy floating in space by myself," that gets the people thinking. And the same thing about the line that Ratcatcher two's father delivers. I mean, that was good thematic plot points that I feel like those ideas could have been elaborated on more than some of the other parts. I also liked Peacemaker. He was a good character, a great metaphor for America as a whole. But then again, it's like they tried to show, oh, America's the bad guy in the end. Look how modern and informed we are. But then it's like that's all undone by the very archaic and like obviously like problematic stereotypes that the movie inflicts. So it's like did it give? Not entirely. But I mean, overall, it was. I definitely liked the length. It had nice pacing. Idris Elba was great. I mean, he was Idris Elba, and it was fun. It was something fun, something for the summertime. So yeah, it was definitely camp. It was definitely camp.